Hello and welcome to your daily oracle reading for Monday, June 15th, 2020. I'm Linda the Lightworker. I'm a shamanic practitioner and my passion is helping you stay on your positive life path. So maybe you've made some changes or now you've started living one day at a time, or perhaps you're a friend of Bill, or whatever you're doing. I'm here to help you stay on your path to recovery so that you live your best life, saying nice things to yourself, eating healthy food, fruits and vegetables, and really taking a little bit of that shamanic energy of insight from the oracles all around us so that we can have terrific days every day moving forward. So if this is your first time here, thanks for stopping by. All the information about me is down below in the little description box. LindaTheLightWorker.com is my website, or email me directly, LindaTheLightWorker@gmail.com, and I'll get back to you just as soon as I can. Let's jump into our cards. Our first card today comes from the World Spirit Tarot deck, and all the information about the decks I use are down below in the description box. And my regulars know I use a couple of decks regularly throughout here. I typically use the World Spirit Tarot, the Wild Unknown Tarot, and also the Mother Peace Tarot deck as they're called. They will tell me when it's time to jump out of their little boxes or cages and come play. So here we have the World Spirit. Our first card today, and this is a general reading for all of us, so it doesn't matter what your zodiac sign or where you are, this reading's for you. Our first card today is the Five of Cups. Well, we've seen this Five of Cups come up time and time again, especially during this time of COVID, and it really is about feeling the disappointments of the past. You know, here's the thing interesting about it. So this little lady, she's crying over these cups that have overturned or seem to be tumbling. I often think, you know, maybe you made a commitment to yourself. Maybe you said, I'm not going to call him, or I'm not going to text him. And like you've put a period, put an end to your relationship, and then in a moment of weakness, you text. Or you don't text and you're hanging on to that. You're just reliving the trauma of the grief, of the ending. This is about the past. Because see, you jumped off your unicorn right here. Your happy unicorn with the spiral sun. He's right up here. And you came down here. You walked down to these feelings of disappointment. So this is the invitation, is to be gentle with yourself. To remind yourself that that unicorn is waiting for you to just jump off and ride into your rainbow sunset, you know, so that joy and love is all around you, and that you are choosing to focus on what is lost and cannot be recovered. Now, many of us are coming to terms in this time of COVID of our past, or who we used to be in our past. That time has ended. And there is grief that comes with it. The mourning of our former selves. The mourning, here are 5 things. This is the Five of Cups. What are the 5 things you're grieving? Perhaps it was your income or your relationship. And maybe you lived in a terrific house or someplace really lovely that you loved and your family was close by. So what are the 5 things that you might be grieving about? Or what are you focusing on, rather than being gentle with yourself, allowing yourself the time to feel your feelings? I'll say that again. Allowing yourself the time to feel your feelings. You know, feelings are simply feelings that arise to show us where we are emotionally. And we learn patterns of behavior in our youth, typically as children, from our parents, of how to respond and how to tap into the power of our emotions. So never forget that these feelings of overwhelmment, of disappointment or sadness or grief can lead for some people to overwhelmment. So be very careful. No, what's that mean? Be careful. Bullshit. Just be yourself. But go easy with yourself. Speak to yourself and your grieving self as you would want your very best friend to say things to you, or how you would imagine God speaking to you, saying things like, there. It's going to be okay. And cry it out. It's all right to cry, and you're allowed to, or be angry. Maybe you're angry. Maybe these are 5 different emotions that come up with this disappointment. Write it down. Writing these things down, what the benefit is that it gets it out of our head. It's an action of ink coming through a pen, through our arm or our mouth, or however you write things down, your toes, and just putting it on paper. And it's an action of release. So that's why I encourage writing so much. Let's jump into our second card. Our second card is the High Priestess. Now, she's out in solitary times, and I see this as with the moon. This is a slivered moon, but it does remind me of the eclipse, which is coming up next week. We have some big astrological stuff happening. Let me just mention it right here and now. Not only do we have the solstice approaching, we'll also have, the solstice, and then what's that other thing? It's called the eclipse, right? The solar eclipse is coming right after the solstice. And before that hits later in this week, Mercury is going retrograde. For my Californians who know what that means. That means communications, and might get a little muddled for the next 21 days or so. So just write it out. If you are already under contract negotiations, it's fine to continue through, but I would encourage you to have contract reviews while Mercury's in retrograde, because a lot of things might become misunderstood. So what's this High Priestess all about? Well, she's dancing in her circle. She's making her magic. And this is a solitary act. So what this says is that, especially from this grief, the more solitude you can have today, the more you can be with yourself and allow yourself. Now, she's dancing with her shadow. So what does that mean? It might mean that she's dancing with some of those feelings of loss that might be going on, or grief. Even if you're moving into a new business, a new way of life, stepping out of the old way of life it's perfectly natural for it to arise with grief. That's not a bad thing. I mean, we have to grieve. That's part of our nature, being emotional human beings. But she is really about her unmanifested potential. What she's doing is she's dancing her magic naked in a circle in the middle of the woods with her shadow, talking to these tree companions. I see them as a pair, meaning that she has the support of the Divine Mother and the Divine Father with her. Her intuition, her wisdom, all of her special powers, her secret powers that she knows how to cultivate and use are with her. And that's you, sweetheart. You have everything you need. And this might be a time for you to be in solitude. I also hear it might be a time for you to remember the cycles of life. Remember the cycles. So as we have this grief coming up, that is a cycle. There are, what the scientists say, there are 5 stages of grief. And I don't know, maybe you do need to go through them all, but it is important to remember that if you are feeling especially emotional today and might not have the language to identify why you're feeling that way, because a lot of stuff is percolating out there. And we have also our final card, which is the Ace of Cups, which is diving into that love feeling. The cups represent the love, the emotions, the duality of emotions, of the elation and the despair. This is about you being reminded that the universal laws of this universe that we've all agreed to be on and in. I'm on and in this universe, although some might disagree, is this karmic law of love. And when we take action, divine action, through the act of love, either giving to another, the most important thing for you to do first is to feed your soul with love for you from your spiritual center, and really tapping in and feeling that divine universal love Because when we're able to be in love, then all of our actions become of service to others because we feel the love within ourselves, then we're ready to share them. So let the love guide you. Some of you, it's time to fall in love with yourself. All right, I will give this assignment for those of you who are up for assignments. I was just looking to see if I had an example here. I might. Okay. So as I'm relocating in my new place, I still have things scattered around. You know how it is when you move. So at your easiest way, grab your mirror, whatever your mirror might look like, and put it up behind the camera and look at yourself and tell yourself how much you love you and what a great job you're doing. And notice how that feels. It might feel very uncomfortable. The mirror work, I will tell you, is the hardest work there is because the eyes that you must gaze into and love are your own. And when we're able to look at our own image and love everything about it, all of its flaws and defects, and all the funny little ways that you are, when you love you and all of your quirkiness and interesting beliefs and thoughts and plans and dreams, when you're able to love yourself so completely, then you're able to feel that love from that divine center of the universe, wherever this pure love energy is coming from, and it will energize you. I trust you. You're going to feel great, or it might help you sleep. Some of you have been running around without enough sleep. Enough said. Let's go into our final card. Our final card today is from the Denise Linn Sacred Traveler's Deck. You know how much I love Denise. My regulars know how much she is incredible. Check her out. Google her. Denise Linn, Linn. This is the Pleasure and Passion card. And it says, savor your life. This is the invitation to be in the present moment. The more present we're able to be and to be able to savor everything that's unfolding around you. Maybe your house is very quiet because you're in solitude. Maybe that's a beautiful thing. Maybe you can enjoy the silence. Or maybe your house is very busy and chaotic because you have kids and things are running around. Remember, these are the days that we will remember for the rest of our lives. We are in the in-between times between pre-COVID and post-COVID. This isn't over. And as our whole system of connecting as human beings is transforming, the invitation is to feed yourself first with love. And it can be a tall order because I know me and I know what I've done in my past and I know the mistakes I've made and I know my shadow self, just like this high priestess does. She's out here playing with her shadowy self, but look at how much fun she has. And she is accepting all of these pieces of her equally, her bright side and her dark side. It's okay if you feel down sometimes. That's okay. But pulling ourselves out of that and being able to feel that love from God, the universe, spirit, your higher power, whatever words you use, to really bring that energy into your body so that you're able to distribute it because it's there to be shared. Well, that's our reading for today. Sounds like it might have some challenges, but I know you can do it, little tomato. My goodness, you have been through so much. Listen, you've had some really tough days, and you've had some tough jobs, and you've been in some horrible relationships. Horrible. So let's celebrate today. Do your best to really celebrate how far you've come and to acknowledge that you're having emotions come up, and that's okay. And let them just be themselves. Just let them percolate. and move along their way so you can feel whole again. Because when we don't express ourselves emotionally, we start building up tension, resentment, anger, hostility, and then we turn into volcanoes. And that's no good for anybody, especially you. So hold on, you do good. You're doing good work. So if no one's told you today, I love you. And I hope you love you too. Be sure and tell yourself how lovable you are, and you can do it. I know this new life you're stepping into is going to be sensational. So feel your way there. All right, my dear. I love you, and I look forward to seeing you next time.